You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob, and this video we're going to do our review for Falling Skies Episode 2 entitled The Eye. Yes, The Eye. So, okay, I meant to do this review, well, actually, I should say this. I actually did do this review last night, Sunday. When you're supposed to do a review after a show airs. And unfortunately, after recording the video, came back and it was all screwy, and it got, for whatever reason, it just jobbled up, started getting choppy, and it was just, for whatever reason, ruined. So I recorded it tonight. And, the episode, it was good. It was good. There were some issues. Okay, so we see that Tom makes an attempt, or not, I shouldn't say make an attempt, purposely gets himself captured on the ship, and the purpose of that is so he can gather information. My issue here was with how he got it. It was so just out there. It was a little ridiculous. It was so convenient. And, when you consider that these aliens are supposed to be intelligent, why would you put the one person who's been the biggest threat to your campaign, why would you put him in your control room with all the answers he needs right there in front of him? It doesn't make any sense. I think that was a poor execution by the creators. I think they should have put him in a position to earn that information. Maybe do something to get away from the E.T.N overlord and the harnessed kid and run around the ship searching for answers. That would have been a lot better. Maybe a little bit of suspense and action to go along with it. Be that as it may, he gets his information and he goes about his business. Now, I'm safely assuming that he cut the deal with the E.T.N. Not because he wants to be their leader, or not their leader, but he wants to be one of their representatives, but so he could get off the ship and maybe keep them at bay, get the people fed because the people got food after that. And, of course, he's not going to tell Hal or Weaver or Pope because, well, in particular, Pope would probably react in such a negative way, it would cause more problems. So I think he's going to keep that to himself. Matthew, we didn't get too much of him this week. He's still at that camp where they're re-educating children to basically side with the E.T.N and sound the alarm. Go back to your loved ones and basically help them get captured. So didn't see too much of that this week. I think the best part of the show had to take place back in Chinatown. First thing is, we obviously see now that it's not a dream. I'm convinced now it's not a dream. Last week I questioned whether or not Ben was probably dreaming, but he's not. This is a real deal. Maggie was a pleasant surprise. I shouldn't say surprise, but it was nice to see her kind of back to Maggie form, because last week, and this is one of the reasons why I thought it was a dream, because, when you think Maggie, you think hardcore, she's here to tear shit up. So to see her last week on this whole peace trip, it was kind of like, what? And then now this week she seems to be getting it together. Possibly she was just doing that to kind of feel Ben out, to make sure that he's not suckered into this, because once you become a non-believer, you basically, or once you get dubbed as a non-believer, you basically become alienated like the good old doctor. So I think she was playing along to see where Ben was, and then once she realized Ben wasn't falling for the crap surrounding them, she said, okay, now I can communicate with Ben. We see that Ben finally got through to Lexi, which was a good thing, and that's another thing I like. Last week's episode kind of made me feel like Lexi was a flower child of some sort, where this week she seemed a little bit more down to earth, for lack of a better term, no pun intended. And it was nice to see that sibling connection, because you didn't get that last week with them. You know what I mean? Where this week you see, all right, it almost feels like she's listening to Big Brother, and she agrees to get checked on by the doctor. And furthermore, she's not completely out there herself. Like Lourdes. Lourdes is out there. Lourdes is like, I'm not even convinced that Lourdes is completely cured of being under control. So that's another thing that, I have a feeling she's gone soon. Something tells me Lourdes is not going to be around much longer. I just get this gut feeling because, she's just not herself anymore. She's not. She's completely whacked. You know, she went from being the mole, which is probably one of the more pleasant surprises of last year, and you think she's healed after what Lexi did to her at the end of last season. Now she's back on a whole new other crazy shit. She seems very, very infatuated and obsessed with being part of Lexi, or being kind of like Lexi's herald. And even Lexi's like, you know, so... But again, that was a nice scene. Now, the scene with Lexi and the Isfini Overlord, or one of them, I should say, I don't know if it's the same one that Tom spoke to, that raised a lot of questions. That raised a lot of questions, and I definitely want to see what's going to happen there. So we see Anne, and again, we didn't get much from this group, Anne and her crew of ragtag rebel fighters. And the thing of it is here is that I still have a hard time buying this. I really do. This is another part of the show I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with her motivation to get her family back. I don't have a problem with her even stepping up and being a little bit more on the military side. I don't. I have a problem with how much she's just taken to it and how she's just completely the leader when I think Anthony should be. So I'm still having a hard time with that, but I understand the motivation of the character. I mean, we got to remember, she did lose a child during the invasion. So, you know, on one hand, maybe someone can get so driven and motivated to fight back that maybe she can do it. I don't know, but I'm still not buying it. I'm still not buying it. So you know, but she does get some critical information from the Skitter. I think she went a little too nuts killing it as early as she did. I think she could have probably gotten some more information had she remained calm. The fact that she showed the picture to the Skitter, and the Skitter seemed to not want to look at it, obviously tells you something. So they seem to be on the right track. Finally, the gentleman from Johannesburg, the African character that was just introduced last week, whose name right now escapes me, so bear with me. But that was a very nifty scene in terms of how he explained and showed them the Faraway suit, you know, which allows electricity to travel around it rather than through it, which would prevent the person from being incinerated. So now, you know, Tom and his crew in the ghetto seem to have their plan. They have their resources. Now it's just a matter of them, you know, striking and getting out of there. And I kind of hope they do. Right now, you know, the first, you know, they're not bad. They're not bad. There's some things going on that I'm really interested in. But I do want them to get out the ghetto. I don't want this to be something that's prolonged for like 5 or 6 episodes, because I don't know, there's something about it that just doesn't feel like, well, it's not exciting, first of all. Second of all, the group, to me, when this group is together, for the most part, like the main guys, it just makes the show better. You know, like I'm not too crazy about them all being separated. I'm hoping we get some answers as to how everything happened in these 4 months. That's another thing that still has me a little intrigued, is how did it get to this? So, but anyway, guys, I mean, that's it for this review. So the Lexi storyline with Ben was great. Ben and Maggie having a little odd moment there. You know, we did see a scene in the preview, if you remember, last week's preview, of them kissing and how it looks like he's punching Ben. So something must go down. We saw a little indication of that at the, you know, at Chinatown, between the exchange of Ben and Maggie. So we'll have to see where that goes. But overall, look, I'm kind of seeing that they're trying to change this show. The question is now, will it be changing for the better? I think it needs more time right now to develop. There's still a lot of questions that are very intriguing. There are some things that I'm seeing that I'm not liking, but I think the bigger picture, I'm being optimistic that it's going to be for the better. I really do like the show, and I want it to succeed, and I am cool right now with where it is. Like I'm cool with that. I just want to see where it's going to go from here. So they do have my interest, they have my intrigue, and we'll have to see what happens. I mean, they got 12 episodes. We still haven't seen Mira Sorvino in any episode yet. I'm sure once she gets on board, that's going to help a great deal. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.